Hey guys, today's video is all about foam rollers. Now, I don't think I could survive all my old injuries if I didn't have some foam rollers at my disposal. This is something that I learned about, probably close to 20 years ago. Foam rolling was just coming out, but people were using it at the time for more of a stabilizing type exercise tool. So kind of like a stability ball. So exercises were being done on the foam roller, and only shortly after that were people starting to see the benefits of using a roller as a self-massage tool. So I'm going to show you a few foam rollers so you can decide what you need and might want for at home based on what your needs are. So if you have to undo the postural crap that comes with driving and sitting at a computer, or if you have to maintain a tight area that needs to keep some pliability to it, or maybe you've got an old injury that always needs a little TLC. Those are the reasons you're going to have your foam rollers. So I'm going to show you a few of them and what you might have them for. And then in subsequent videos, I'll show you a few very specific techniques as to how to foam roll. So first of all, this is going to be your most basic foam roller. This large diameter, soft foam, and you can get this in more of a spongy foam or a hard foam, and typically they might be double to triple the length of this particular one. But this is perfect for rolling out the back all the way up towards the neck and through the thoracic spine and even down to the lumbar spine. Most people are going to need to start with something like this. It's softer and it's not as painful, let's say, on some of the tight spots as some of the harder rollers are. So this one is going to be important, especially if you're just beginning with foam rolling. Now remember the whys. Why are you doing this? You're doing this to self-massage. So you want to make sure that it's feeling maybe uncomfortable, but not feeling super painful. Okay, I'm going to show you another one. This one is a high-end roller. It's fantastic for traveling. It's got this case on the outside that's really foamy and soft, but it's small and compact for traveling and has a hollow inside, so you can stuff in, say, a travel band to work with, or put in some smaller tools like another roller or a lacrosse ball, or even underwear or socks if you're traveling with this. So this is a perfect roller for traveling. And depending on how squishy it is on the outside, that's going to determine where you can use it on your body. The tightest areas with the less bulky flesh are going to need softer rollers, and the areas that have more flesh, like your hamstrings and your glutes, might need a harder roller. Okay, so there's this one. And then another one, this is the tough stuff. So you want to get into some of those deep areas. So this might be into my glute medius or glute max or even calves. So this would be one that really uses these little knobs to get into some of the trigger points or those hypertonic kind of tense spots that that are really hard to work out, and something that's smooth may not quite get there, but something like this where you pause and spend a little more time on a specific area, this may work for you. This particular one's not hollow. I don't travel with this. This is kind of like that thing I have at home for very specific spots. For me, this is my hip flexors and my glute medius. This is the area, the tool I need to get those areas. A little bit of calves as well. This is our homemade version of this. So all it is a 3-inch PVC pipe with a yoga mat glued to it. And this has just allowed us to have something really hard. It's not very foamy. It's pretty aggressive, but this is key on my IT bands and calves as well. But it doesn't tend to get into those really knotty spots like this one does. But it's lighter, it's hollow, and it's perfect for travel. So I really like this one. And then we've got some things like this. So your golf ball is really hardcore. This is going to be for the arches of your feet. This is going to be for some really tough spots, maybe in your glutes or up against a wall into your upper back or even along your neck as well. You might rub this in manually. And then something like this is a little softer, but the nice thing about this kind of divot in here is it goes nicely along the spine, nicely along the Achilles as well. So you can get some spots that are really tough to get because of bony areas. The problem with this, though, I find, is that it's just not quite hard enough for some of those key areas like the calves. So I like, this one is actually softer than it looks. But it is still very good. So I would use a lacrosse ball or this if I had to get into some really aggressive spots. Now there's another one called a tiger tail, and the tiger tail is typically just a thinner rod, and it's got some roly points on it, and you can kind of rub it up and down your thigh or onto calves or certain areas like that. So that, I don't have that one right now. So among these, if I had to pick, and I could only pick two, I would likely pick this homemade version, and something like a lacrosse ball or the golf ball. So these two, if I could only pick two, this is what it would be. And if I've been really, really stuck and I'm traveling and I've forgotten my roller, or I couldn't fit it in, or whatever it is, then what I do is I use a water bottle. So I'm almost always traveling with a water bottle. I'll have that. I might put a towel over it or just use the water bottle itself, and then I'll roll certain spots. Now remember why you are doing this. You are doing this to keep tissue looser and pliable. And it's that self-massage that if you can't get into a massage, or you have an injury that you're trying to get over, or you're maintaining an old injury, keeping it in check, then you're looking at that type of self-massage and you're picking your tool for that. However, you can go too hard if you aren't accustomed or the tissue isn't pliable. If I take something like this, and I've never rolled my IT bands before, and they're so tight, then this is going to cause bruising and cause more pain and not create pliability. It's going to create a splinting or a tension response instead. So you can have the exact opposite effect. So you're always going to err on the side of something that's a little more accommodating first, and then go to the more aggressive rolling later once your tissue is more pliable. And keep in mind that if you're seeing bruising, or you're seeing that it's just so painful you can barely move, you're probably starting a little too hard. If you're getting to a point that you feel the trigger point, you feel like you're starting to work on it and work through it a bit, and it feels better when you finished rolling, you're likely on the right track. So those are just a few tips for you, and in some further videos you will see how to roll specific areas like the arches of your feet, or your IT band, or your pecs, or your lats, things like that. So I hope this is helpful for you to know how to distinguish between what tool to use when it comes to foam rolling. Enjoy, have a wonderful day.